Imagine if you knew the exact steps to take to manifest your desired reality. How quickly would you be able to materialize your desired reality if you knew exactly what to do? How easy would it be if you knew exactly what to do? Well, you don't need to imagine, because the truth of the matter is, in order to materialize your desired reality in the most efficient, simplest way, you need the intuition of a God. Now, if you see my previous videos, you know our boy here is always looking sad, but today he's happy. And that's because he's had a light bulb moment. And that light bulb moment is exactly what we're going to be discussing in this video. In order for you to simplistically, manifest your desired reality, what you're going to need to do is to tap into the frequency of God. Now, for the mere purpose of simply deconstructing what God means to you. When I'm talking about God, I'm not talking about some personality sat in the sky dictating the course of human events, which is nothing more than an egotistical personification of our lowest and highest versions of ourselves. What I'm simply referring to is the impersonal energy that God is, also known as the Most High, but the Most High frequency, which is inherently within you, like it says in Corinthians, esoterically and quite beautifully, that you are the temple where God dwells. Now, in order for you to manifest, quite simply, intuition plays a bigger part than you'll ever realize. And until you can unlock the door of intuition, the door of your desired reality will be closed. So this is exactly what you're going to learn in this video. Okay, so before you can have the intuition of a God, slow down, you're gonna get some. There's a couple of things that we need to actually recorrect before, because the truth of the matter is, one thing that you're going to learn as you dive deeper into metaphysics and truly becoming somebody who can control their reality is that there's more to unlearn than there really is to learn. And the more you're able to unlearn, the more you begin to release all the baggage that you've accumulated as a human being throughout on this physical plane. So, I gotta clear up some shit that these spiritual niggas love telling you people. And chances are you've heard this or you've seen somebody embody this. And it's a lie that is completely destructive, and it's in direct opposition to the structure through the way that the universe is built. Now, what is that lie? That lie is you don't have to take action. In fact, nah, you niggas can just sit around, play frequencies in the back, burn some sage, wear some of them baggy vegan pants, and just put your desire out there and it's going to materialize. This is one of the most destructive lies that I've seen throughout my time studying all of this stuff, which is a combination of 8 years of study and nearly 400 books worth. This is the most destructive lie. And there's a couple of reasons why people do this. Now, the truth of the matter is, what this is, quite blank, is laziness. And you have to understand, a lazy consciousness will always lead to a lazy reality. That is something that you can never escape. You're going to have to bypass this lie, but first we have to actually understand why this lie isn't true. Now, like I said, chances are you've seen somebody, the typical spiritual nigga aesthetic. You exactly know that this is what they kind of embody, that everything is just going to come to me and I don't have to do anything, so on and so forth. But that's complete nonsense, because like I said, it's in direct opposition to the way that the universe is structured. And you have to remember, anytime that you're suffering within this third dimensional realm is because you are out of alignment with the universe, which really and truly you are out of alignment with yourself, because you are a microcosm of the entire universe. Never forget that you are your own universe. You don't live in the same universe as everybody else, because the universe that you live in is solely dependent upon your frequency. And the frequency that you're in puts you in a different world. There may be one planet, but there's 8 billion worlds. Now, going back to what I was saying as to why this lie is so destructive in its nature, is because you have to understand, when we're talking about action, you're essentially speaking about physical. And when I say the physical, this is in reference to the way that reality is structured. the multi-dimensional explanation of how reality is structured always comes down to the foundations. Always remember, it's not about watching these videos that say if you do these affirmations overnight, nigga, you're gonna become a billionaire and all this other shit. It's really about honing in on the foundational principles, because whether you realize this or not, until you discover the foundations of the universe, you have not discovered the foundations of yourself, because you are the universe. That was a bar, write that down. Make sure you take notes and make sure you leave them in the comments. You already know what we do, but sometimes I have to speak in case there's a new nigga watching me. So if that's you, lovely to meet you. Now, multi-dimensional explanation of how reality is comprised, you have to understand there's 3 planes of existence: physical, mental, spiritual. Now, what often happens when people become spiritual, and I want you to understand, the more spiritual a nigga becomes, the less spiritual that they really are, because the most spiritual thing you can do is to become more of who you are, not to rebrand yourself as somebody else who talks best slow and they look like they're high all the time, so on and so forth. You can just be regular, nigga. It's okay. Some of us do regular shit. We drink, we watch fucking TV shows like Snowfall. It's okay. But for the mere purpose of what I'm saying, like I said, you have to understand the multidimensional explanation of how reality is comprised. And that is the physical, that is the spiritual, and that is the mental. Now, the reason why this lie is so destructive is because it cancels out one of these planes. If you see them all as 33%, please don't send no Illuminati, you know, allegations on me for using the number 33. It's okay. I'm not. Well, They haven't recruited me yet, even though somebody said I know Nero's at Diddy parties. Anyways, 33%, but eventually, with this lie, you cancel out one of the physical plane. Now, I want to ask you something. Despite all the wisdom that you've been able to accumulate, who are you to question the wisdom of the Creator? The Creator found it so necessary to create a 3rd dimensional realm, a physical plane, a physical reality in which your ego can operate in, but you attempt to deny and discredit and disrespect it. You're disrespecting yourself. Which is why, regardless of the lies you niggas tell yourselves, nothing's changing. Because, and please remember this, all successful manifestation requires a synchronization of the alignment across all 3 planes of existence. In order for you to manifest something successfully, you need to be aligned on the mental plane, spiritual plane, and the physical plane. This particular destructive lie cancels out the physical plane, which means you're only operating 66% out of the 100. Now, I didn't study maths at uni, but this ain't complete. And the only way that you can complete your manifestation is if you complete the synchronization across all 3 planes of existence. This lie is so dangerous. I can't express how dangerous it is, because it puts people in a perpetual cycle of negating an aspect of themselves. And anytime that you attempt to negate an aspect of yourself, the universe will intense and reflect that. It will intensify and magnify the ignorance that you're displaying. You have to remember, you can never be out of alignment with the universe, because each and every single time you do, it will result in suffering. The people that suffer the most are those who are out of alignment with themselves. That's a bar, write that down. Now, what else do I have to say about this lie? That's basically it. Something crazy happened. So somebody asked me, how do I heal this anxiety that I've been dealing with? And of course, me, real nigga, I want to help you guys. So I told them to go listen to Bobby Schmurders and Rowdy Rebel Computers. Me and AJ, he's a real person. Me and AJ literally went and looked at the song, and there were nearly over 30 comments of saying, Nero sent me here, Nero sent me here. So because, you guys tapped into the Akashic Records through listening to that legendary, finely composed piece of art, I'm going to give you another one. Go listen to Oh So Arrogant by Lil J. Oh So Arrogant. That might even make God come out. But you know what though? There's certain songs that are undefeated. White girl songs, listen, I'm gonna say something controversial. Them white girl songs, they're peak. Like, I'm talking, tonight we are young. And, when I'm without you, there's no place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be. And of course, you don't expect a nigga and a wife beating a do-rag to, who was raised in the ghetto to be listening to them songs. But listen, can't box me in. I feel like if you can box someone in, it's a bit boring. Speaking of boxing, AJ, I'd like for you to come up here. I've decided to materialize him down from the physical plane. Oof. We hit 100K, and then I think in the same day we hit 103.
103.
And now we're at 140?
140.
In just over a month. So I see spiritual niggas talking this spiritual stuff, but I don't see them living it. You know what I'm saying?
Ridiculous. Hold it up to the camera. Show.
You know, like when niggas sign deals, like when they become like pro athletes and they're like...
Officially a YouTuber. Day in the life coming soon.
Nah, no day in the life. I ain't doing all of that. I keep telling this nigga I'm not an influencer. I'd rather be influential. Write that down. Now, there's something that you have to understand. Like I just explained, that lie negates 1 out of 3 of the physical planes. And in order for you to manifest what it is that you want, you need to be aligned across all 3 planes of existence. But before that, you have to understand the role that intuition plays. Now, for the mere purpose of me revealing it to you, I will reveal this to you at the end. Let's say that this is X. You have to understand that the right intuition leads to you having the right compulsion. So the things that you're compelled to do, which leads to the right action. And the right action that you take down onto this physical plane will lead to the manifestation of your desire. This is the chain of events that need to take place in order for something to be materialized. Now, of course, I'm going to break down intuition. So let's do that first because, this is a word that, whoops, I dropped it. This is a word that we often use in our day-to-day lives, but we've never really truly discovered the esoteric meaning of intuition, because you have to understand, when we're talking about this esoteric shit, the information isn't esoteric. It's the mind that has the capability to unlock the esoteric meaning within it. That's what's esoteric, which is why some people can read the same books you've read, but it doesn't click for them. And it's because you niggas need to realize you didn't choose the esoteric, it chose you. But you think that you chose it, so you try and make other people do the same, but they're not on a frequency to be able to comprehend this. Now, when we're talking about intuition, you have to understand that intuition is comprised of 2 words, in and then tuition. In pertaining to inner, and when we're talking about inner, what we're talking about is within, also known as the inner world, also known as the inner dimension, I know it looks like I spelled this wrong, but I haven't. Also known as the dwelling place of God. That's what the in part of it is. That's what the inner represents. Tuition simply means teaching or guidance. So if we are to combine these 2 words with these 2 particular meanings, the within, the inner world, the inner dimension, God, teach and guidance, then it could be understood that the definition of intuition is then teaching and guidance from the infinite. And you have to understand, you need to be able to take action correctly. And I want to break down to you the way most people take action. Chances are the actions that you've been taking feels like hard work. It's quite strenuous. There's a lot of effort involved, and it shouldn't feel like that. And if that's how it feels, then what that should indicate to you is that you're not aligned across the 3 planes of existence, and you need to lock into what I'm saying. So make sure you lock in. Now, as I was saying, the chain of events, and I'll reveal this at the end because this is going to make all the difference through how easy it is for you to materialize your desired reality. You have to understand the right intuition will lead to you being compelled to do the right things. When you're compelled to do the right things, you'll then be compelled to take the right action. The right action allows for the frequency that always begins, on the higher dimensions to then be slowed down and materialized down onto the physical plane, resulting in what we call manifestation. But the major component of that is your intuition, the inner teaching, the inner guidance. The issue is you're not tapped into your inner teaching and guidance, and it's not reflective of your desired reality. It's actually reflective of a reality you don't want. So you're actually being compelled to do things that lead to wrong action, that lead to the wrong manifestation. That is the issue. But we need to make sure that we rearrange this in a perspective that makes complete sense. Now, I have to explain to you how most people are trapped when it comes to taking certain actions. And chances are this is how you've seen your loved ones grow up. This is what I saw growing up. And it's not until I can look back now and be like, that's why, mom was struggling, or so on and so forth. And it's nothing more than a misalignment in the prioritization of the levels of existence, because you have to remember, the higher you operate from, the higher you'll be when it comes to being above the issues of your reality. That's a bar, write that down. I saw a comment and somebody said, Nero for breakfast. And it was a guy. You gotta pause on that one, bro. That one needs a no diddy. That's crazy. You can't be eating me for breakfast. You can't be eating me for breakfast. That's crazy.
For lunch?
Nah, you can't eat me for lunch either. All right, cool. So, like I said, you have to understand, and I want you to conceptualize it like this. So I want you to think about a fly. Let's say a fly is attempting to go outside. It's stuck in your house. It's attempting to pass through the window. We've all seen this example. A fly that's completely just beaten into it. Pause, heavy pause. A fly that's continuously beaten into the window trying to get outside. Never realizing that if it just did a 180-degree turn, it would have seen that the back door was open, pause, and it could have flown out there. Now, what you have to understand is that this is how most people govern their lives. So most people simply take action. And the reason for that is because they've fallen for the illusion of the third dimensional realm. Now, part of being within the physical plane of the third dimensional realm means that we begin to associate action with result. And this is completely dangerous. It's very, very dangerous. And it's so simplistic in its understanding, because this is how the ego gets addicted to itself. Because you have to think about it like this. When we're hungry, we take physical action to eat. When we're thirsty, pause, we take physical actions to drink. When we want something done, we take physical action. And what often ends up happening is that we begin to merge action and result to a point where the idea of you getting a result without taking action doesn't even make sense in your head. But the issue is, action is of the lowest level of consciousness. And it's the lowest level of consciousness because you have to understand that anything that we do within our physical plane or reality, please remember this and please write this down. It is an effect. It is an effect. It is an effect. It is an effect. Anything within this third dimensional realm, so by the time that you experience a particular condition or a circumstance or an event of reality or something happens, by the time it's happened, it is an effect. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes, you understand what I'm saying. Cool, lovely. And the reason for that, you have to understand that what most people do when they attempt to change their reality by taking action. And this is how you get stuck in the cycle that you watched those that you love grow up in. They want to change their circumstance, whether it's making more money, whether it's changing a condition of reality that they don't want to move away from. They want to go from scarcity to a form of prosperity. They think, I'm going to change my reality by taking action. Now, let me ask you a question. Does it make sense to change an effect by changing an effect? No, that's nigger maths. It doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make any sense at all. How does it make sense that you want to change an effect by changing an effect? But see, that's the illusion. Because you're so used to taking physical action in your day-to-day life that result that action and result become merged into one, and you can't even detach them from each other. So anytime that you want to change your reality, you attempt to change it within the lowest level of consciousness, and anytime that you're operating from the lowest level of consciousness, you can only have the lowest reality. That's a bar, write that down. In order for you to change your reality in a manner that you want, you need to begin to elevate your level of consciousness up to the highest planes of existence. Because once you elevate up to the highest planes of existence, then that's how we shift towards the cause. And the cause will always be the mind. The universe is entirely mental. It will always be your frequency. And I want you to conceptualize your frequency in two ways. You can think about it like when you're tuned into a radio. Depending upon the frequency that you're tuned into, the radio station that you experience will be solely dependent upon that. If you're tuned into the radio station of rap, then you're going to hear rap. Now, it's crazy because AJ thinks that J. Cole is one of the best rappers. Not true.
Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne isn't the best rapper.
Not true.
The best rappers, Jay-Z, Nas.
Ridiculous.
What do you mean ridiculous?
Absolutely ridiculous. I might as well call Drake the best rapper if you call me Nas.
You want to put Drake above Jay-Z?
Not above Jay-Z.
Above Nas? You've lost your mind. You've gone bonkers. You've lost your mind. Are you serious?
J. Cole, Drake.
J. Cole and Drake. J. Cole. Jermaine.
And Lil Wayne. Fuck it, might as well put Cole.
Jay-Z said he's the only one to rewrite history without a pen. You haven't heard Reasonable Doubt, have you? Of course not. You haven't heard The Blueprint, have you?
Yes.
No, you haven't.
Yes.
Exactly. You haven't heard Blueprint 2, have you?
Yes.
You hadn't even listened to Watch the Throne.
I've listened to some songs.
You've listened to Niggas in Paris. That's it.
And Otis.
And Otis.
There's gotta be some of them somewhere.
You're not serious, bro. You're not serious. So before you were trying to say that The Flash is the best hero when it's Batman, and now you're trying to say that Lil Wayne...
Powers? How does he pass?
He doesn't need powers. He doesn't need powers. He's him. Bro, Jay-Z is literally GOAT status.
Jay-Z's best bar is him saying, "I told my wife the spiritual shit really works."
Bro, you can't even comprehend Jay-Z's bars.
That's his best
You
bar.
can't even comprehend his bars.
I told my wife the spiritual shit really works.
Lil Wayne is not the best rapper.
Who do you think Jay-Z gets his bars from?
Who do I think Jay-Z... Have you lost your mind? Have you lost your mind?
You know what? You know what? The first ever Jay-Z song I heard?
What?
Empire State of Mind.
The first Jay-Z song you ever heard was Empire State of Mind.
I wasn't even there.
Jamaica has just lost aura. The entire country of Jamaica has just lost aura. The entire country. But anyways, like I said, you have to understand that when we're talking about cause and effect, you have to understand this is what biblically, esoterically is you reap what you sow. This is the concept being broken down. Now, in another way to say this, you can only reap a harvest that is yours. If you're eating mangoes, it's because you planted mango seeds. The issue is you want to eat mangoes, but you're planting apple seeds. That doesn't make any sense. It's nigger maths again. You have to understand when we're talking about the realm of cause, it always pertains to the mind. It always pertains to frequency. And your frequency is the product code of the reality that you want. Depending upon the frequency that you're at, you're going to receive a particular item from the universal Amazon warehouse, you could say, that is going to be reflective of the frequency you're at. And your frequency is also known as your self-concept. But most people stop at your self-concept as what you believe to be true about yourself. But no, it's what you know to be true about yourself. And knowing is more than believing. It's not enough to believe. You're never going to ever materialize anything in this reality unless you know. In the same way that certain days I know I'm going to see someone that I know. I know this person's going to say this. I know this is going to happen. When you tap into knowing, you tap into the true esoteric definition of faith, which comes from the etymological Latin word fides, which meant confidence and conviction. And the way that you end up knowing is through a complete alignment across your beliefs, attention, thoughts, but thoughts that are emotionally charged. And that's the most important thing. Thoughts have no power unless there's emotion behind them, because thoughts alter the vibratory rate of these thoughts to make them easier to materialize down into reality. Your identity and your emotional conviction. When all of these things, I'm going on my knees, pause. When all of these things are in a particular form of alignment, then that puts your frequency in a particular way, alters your mind in a particular way. The issue is people want to take action to change their reality, but what they should be doing is changing their frequency, because the frequency is the cause. Because until you elevate up to the highest levels of actually changing, because your cause will always lead to a particular effect. This is how most of our loved ones play the game. They attempt to change their reality by taking action, but you can't take any action. And I'll give you this lovely example because this is going to make all the sense in the world. So I can't believe you said Lil Wayne is the best rapper. You've actually lost your mind.
I'm being so serious.
You've lost your mind. You've lost your mind. You've lost your mind. Lil Wayne's hard, don't get it twisted, pause. He's hard. I can't deny that one. Real G's moving silence like lasagna. You know, that bar, insane.
He's so good.
But I'm gonna say something even more controversial. Young Thug's better than Lil Wayne. I'm just gonna say it. Listen, if you don't want to crucify me in the comments, do it. You know, somebody, commented the other day, guys, Nero isn't really black, he's truly a white man, and the jig is up, guys. I'm a Caucasian. You got me. You got me. You got me. I was a reptile 2 weeks ago. Someone said I was a reptile, and now I'm a Caucasian. I want to see what you guys say I am next.
In all seriousness though, Kanye is the GOAT.
Kanye is the GOAT, but he's not the GOAT rapper. He's the GOAT artist. There's a difference.
He's the
Life
best.
of Pablo wasn't a rap album, but that's probably one of my favorite albums.
Really?
Yeah?
I can't lie. Well, College Dropout to be Kanye's first.
College Dropout was hard, but there's a lot of nostalgia behind that.
Nah.
What do you mean then?
No. Man don't do the nostalgia thing to make it seem that it's better than it is. Like, it's good.
Give it a rest.
That album is good.
Give it a rest.
Better than anything Jay-Z produced.
Are you? I'm not doing this with you. Go listen to Reasonable Doubt.
Song on College Dropout.
Song for song, Jay-Z's wiping him. Are you crazy? He's Jehovah.
You know the thing about Jay-Z, he drops about 2-3 good songs in an album.
Do you know what I realized? Listen, celebrities aren't the same anymore. These new celebrities don't get no Illuminati allegations. You know what I'm saying? You know niggas were real celebrities back in the day when they were getting Illuminati. You know what I'm saying? You just look at some of these rappers and you're like, Sexy Red just ain't part of the Illuminati. You just know she ain't part of the Illuminati. But ski ye. But anyways, now like I said, you have to understand, like I said, most people play the game entirely backwards. They merge their action with their result, never actually taking care of the most important fact on the highest level, which is their frequency. That's what they never care about. And you have to understand, in order for you to rearrange your reality in the most simplest way, you need to have alignment across all three planes of existence, but you have to take other planes into consideration. So if we take the example that everybody does, let's talk about the gym. So at the start of New Year's, niggas want to flood the gym and take up all the machines, so some of us can't do anything and train like we're about to, fight, I don't even know, Sukuna or some shit like that, Sukuna. But how it goes is this. So most people, when they're like, damn, I want to get into shape, what's the first thing that they do? They say, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to take the physical action to go to the gym because I want to be fit. But it never lasts. Why? Because they're playing the game backwards. Their frequency is unfit. And here's a bar I need you to write down. You can never outrun what your frequency is. No amount of physical action will ever allow you to outpace your frequency. And if your frequency is resonant of somebody that is unfit, nigga, when it rains, you'll be like, it's raining. I'm not gonna go to the gym, it's raining. The things that you're compelled to do, the intuition, your mind's gonna say, nah, don't go to the gym, it's raining. Don't go to the gym, it's 7 p.m. right now. Don't do that. Don't do that. Why? Because your frequency is resonant with somebody that is unfit. So no amount of physical action will ever produce the result that you really want, which is in order for you to be fit. But see, this is how the game needs to be played. When you first enter the frequency of being fit, then take the action to be fit, there is alignment there because you have merged yourself across all three planes of existence. And that is how you really need to do it. That is how you really, really do it. So, like I told you, in order for you to materialize, and you can extrapolate this to every other thing. When I have a client, for example, and somebody applies to work with me, I know you guys are complaining that it's always full and there's no spaces, but I don't know, what do you want me to do? I'm one nigga. But anyways, when somebody applies to work with me, what often they've got into the habit of is taking action to get a result. That's what they're always doing. And it makes me think of my client, Jake. So Jake, he owns a plumbing business in the UK, and he was stuck at 50K for like over a year. And of course, his physical action was to sell as much as possible, do marketing, so on and so forth, yada, yada, yada. All physical action. But his frequency not realize that no amount of hard work will ever allow you to outpace your frequency. His frequency was set at 50K per month. So even if that dude worked 100 million hours, he would still get 50K per month. In 2 weeks with me, he went from 50K to 75K. He made 75K in 2 weeks. Why? Because we reordered him on the highest plane of existence. Because you have to understand, your frequency is your cause. You cannot change an effect by changing an effect. So extrapolate this to whatever you want. Whether you want to manifest a person, whether you want to manifest more money, whether you want to manifest a job, make sure that your frequency is first aligned. Frequency first, action after. That is the framework that I give to my clients. Now, if you're an entrepreneur who's stuck at a revenue ceiling and you want to break out in 5 to 7 weeks, then link in the description. Now, like I told you, in order for you to materialize your desired reality, you need the intuition of a God. And when I'm saying God, you have to understand what I'm talking about is the highest frequency. Unless you're acting from the highest frequency from a point of the intuition that you receive, you're always going to be limited to the lowest level of physical action, which means you're always going to be limited to the lowest level of physical result. Now, I'm going to give you 2 scenarios. I'm going to show you how humans take action, and I'm going to show you how gods take action. Somebody commented, when Nero's wiping his board, I imagine he's wiping me. Can't lie. You need to behave. Now, 2 scenarios in particular. So, we have the human, and then we have the God. And bear in mind, when I'm saying God, stop associating it with this entity and associate it with what is within. Externalization is the true blasphemy of anything. Anytime that you externalize your consciousness, you give power to reality. Anytime you give power to reality, reality will force you to submit to it. No diddy. You have to understand and align yourself with the highest truth. Now, how humans typically take action is this. So if you remember the cycle or the chain of events that I drew earlier, when we're talking about right intuition, the things that you're compelled to do, the physical action that you take, and then what manifests, you have to understand how it goes. So for most humans, they go as much. They go, In fact, for humans, this is how they do it. If you're struggling to manifest your desired reality, this is how chances are you've been doing it. So remember, we have X, which you don't know what it is, but don't worry, I'm gonna tell you what it is. And you have wrong intuition. The wrong intuition is always going to will always lead to you being compelled to do the wrong things. And when I'm talking about your compulsions or the things you're compelled to do, there's been these moments where you're internally guided by this inner voice that says, don't do this. Don't date him. Don't date her. Take a left today. Don't go down this path that you usually do. And you have this inner guidance. The issue is, when we're talking about your desired reality, the issue is you have the wrong intuition, which means you're being compelled to do the wrong things, which means you take the wrong action, which eventually means you end up in the wrong reality, which is where you are now. And it's not until you can change this, because this right here is the major domino. This is the major domino that will have a ripple effect on every other thing that you have got going on here. Now, what do you think it is? What do you think it is, AJ?
Say that again.
This nigga wasn't even listening. This guy doesn't even listen. He's just there. He's just there watching me. You know, somebody was like, can I replace AJ? I'm a more attentive student.
How dare they? This was the one time.
We're all students, man. It is what it is. Now, this is how humans do. And as the great Bobby Hemmett said, you need to stop thinking like a human and start thinking like a god. Even as wrong as this cycle is, most people simply focus on the action which will always lead to the wrong manifestation. They don't even have the introspective wisdom to be able to think, what am I being compelled to do? What I'm being compelled to do is directly tied to my intuition. What intuition am I receiving right now? If you're not in your desired reality, until you alter this chain of events, by altering this big domino, you'll continue to end up in the wrong reality. This is why intuition is so important. It's so very important. You might see niggas making videos about this after I've made it. Now, the major domino. What is the thing that's just gonna make everything bust? Pause. What is the largest aspect that will change everything? That is what this is. The issue is, most people are in the wrong frequency. They may say, I desire prosperity, abundance, I deserve this job, I desire this person, but you're not in the frequency of already having it, and you can only have what you already have. And until you become the vibratory alignment of what it is that you have or want, it will never materialize. Before anything can exist physically, it first must exist vibrationally. And with the wrong frequency, you receive the wrong intuition, because remember, intuition is inner teaching, inner guidance. The inner teaching, inner guidance that you receive is solely dependent upon the level of consciousness that you're at, the frequency that you're at. And if you're at a low level, then you're going to receive low level information, which means you're going to be compelled to do low level things, which means you're going to take low level action, which then results in a low level reality. How gods gain that level of intuition to materialize their desired reality? Because as I always say, spirituality without the ability to control your reality is vanity. I don't give a fuck about how much shea butter you use, nigga, how much sea moss you use. Don't make a difference if you're not in your desired reality. That's the most important thing for me. The most important thing for me is giving you the ability to control your reality. So you're actually living something that you truly want to live as you deserve it. But in order to do that, you can't play the same game as everybody else. Because if you play the same game as everybody else, you'll end up in the same game as everybody else. And the thing is, you don't want to be in that game, or you wouldn't be here watching me. And somebody said, I'm the only guy on YouTube to tell niggas to get off his channel. I don't know what you want me to say to that, nigga. I don't know what I'm supposed to say to that. But, like I said, if somebody has the right frequency, and when I say right frequency, I'm simply talking about a frequency that is the vibratory alignment of your desired reality. That equates to your desired reality, that's reflective of your desired reality. The right frequency will lead to you being internally guided to do the right things. And I see this all the time. When I shift the client's frequency, they end up saying, you know, I just done this. I don't even know why I done it. It doesn't even make sense why I done it. Somebody just told me to do it. I tweak this, I tweak that, I tweak this, I tweak that. Why? Because the level of information that you're being guided from internally from God is completely changed. The right frequency will lead to the right intuition, which will lead to you being compelled to do the right things. And when you're compelled to do the right things, that results in you taking right action, which then leads to a right reality. Most people don't have the level of consciousness to reverse engineer the process of, if you're in a wrong reality, it's because you're taking action that is wrong, action that is out of alignment. Think about the individual who wants to take the physical action to be fit, but mentally they're unfit. You can't outpace your frequency. That's a bar, write that down. And because of the wrong action, that means that you're being compelled to do the wrong things. And if you're being compelled to do the wrong things, that means you have the wrong intuition. And if you're receiving wrong intuition, that's because you are in the wrong frequency. This is the domino. This is the priority. This is the As it says in Exodus, I am that I am. This is the I am principle. This is the foundation. This is the alpha and omega of your entire reality. There's nothing more important than making sure that your frequency is aligned as a priority before you take physical action. Because anytime that you attempt to take physical action within the wrong frequency, you're going to be like the fly that tries to continuously go outside by passing through the window instead of doing an 180-degree turn and realizing that the back door is open the whole time. Pause. But that alteration in the consciousness is what's reflective of that 180-degree turn, a prioritization of the highest levels of existence. Because until you're playing at the highest levels, you'll stay at the lowest levels. And this is what you have to understand. Right frequency, if you want to be in the right reality, you need to take right action. You can only take right action if you're being compelled to do the right things. You can only be compelled to do the right things if you have the right intuition. And you can only receive the right inner teaching, inner guidance, if you are in, drum roll please, ladies and gentlemen, and reptiles, the right frequency.